You are listening to the Oneofus.net podcast network. One of Us is a podcast and video network funded all but entirely by donations and subscriptions. We do accept pitches for audio-based or banner ads, but on a case-by-case basis. If you are interested in that, contact us at oneofusnet@gmail.com. With the amount of audio and video content we generate, it is expensive and extremely time-consuming to keep things running. Please go to the webpage oneofus.net and sign up for a subscription at $2, $5, $10, or $25 and get a ton of bonus content. One of Us needs and appreciates all your support.
Do you have the time to listen to three teenagers whine? Because NIMRODS is sending them on a road trip. Inspired by the early touring misadventures of Green Day, NIMRODS follows Tommy, Fred, and Chad, three Kansas City teenagers whose garage band, the Analog Dogs, is still waiting for its dookie-sized break. When Tommy gets a phone call saying that they've been invited to open for Green Day on New Year's Eve in Los Angeles, he grabs his bandmates and hits the road. So begins 3 days of stolen vehicles, questionable substances, terrible decisions, punk rock dreams, and a desperate race toward a gig that will change their lives forever. Mason Thames, Kyler Kaufman, and Ryan Faust play all three would-be rock stars with McKenna Grace, Jenna Fisher, Angela Kinsey. Was Angela Kinsey Chad's mom?
No, she was the bartender.
She was the bartender. There we go. Fred Armisen, Bobby Lee, and Sean Gunn, all in the chaos here. And, of course, Billy Joe Armstrong, Mike Dirnt, and Trey Cool appearing as themselves. Writer-director Lee Kirk builds the movie off of stories supplied by Green Day about their own pre-fame years crammed in tour vans, chasing gigs long before Dookie made them international stars. The band produced this movie. Their music fills the soundtrack. I think every single Green Day song you could possibly name is in this movie. And even the title's obviously from the 97 album Nimrod. So no, this is not a Green Day biopic. I am TC DeWitt of the Screener Squad. And I am joined in the One of Us garage with our amps turned all the way up and our analog recorders ready for our thoughts with Mike.
Yes, I have a bass guitar, so I'm pretty much ready to rock and roll here.
We're going to have a problem because I also play bass, and we're joined by another bass player, a guest to One of Us. Welcome to the garage. We're joined by Jim Brzelik.
Hey, everybody.
Jim, also you brought a bass as well.
I did bring a bass. I'm multi-talented, but the bass is what I brought.
All right, so we're just three bass players.
I mean, we can all do an all bass band. I mean, Death from Above 1979 exists.
Okay, there we go. All right, well, I know that Jim watched this because I dragged him to it, but I also want to know, Mike, why you signed up for this. Are you a Green Day fan?
I was when I was a lot younger. I've of course owned Dookie on a CD, and I've had Nimrod. I played the fuck out of Nimrod back in the day, and of course, American Idiot was like the album of the year when that came out. That's a huge deal. But I kind of fell off after 21st Century Breakdown. My tastes were kind of shifting, and I thought that they were also kind of shifting, and their styles becoming much more of like a Hot Topic emo band than anything else, than like what I was used to. And I was like, yeah, I'm just not as into them anymore. But every once in a while, I hear about them come out with new stuff, and part of me thinks about checking it out, but I never really follow through on it. But no, I was interested because, I mean, Green Day doing a movie just sounded interesting. I love a good road movie. So that's why I sounded this one.
All right. Well, Jim, are you a Green Day fan? You come from the era, so yeah.
Similar to Mike, I had Dookie, played that a bunch. They had an album earlier than that. Oh, what kind of fan am I? I can't even name it.
Kerplunk.
Yeah, I think it was Kerplunk. And that still has actually, probably one of my very favorite Beatles covers. Because they did My Generation, I think.
Well, that's not the Beatles. That's the Who.
That's not? That's the Who?
Yeah.
Well, shit, I'm not a very big Beatles fan. Or
the Who fan, yeah.
Crap. What kind of grave have I dug for myself here?
That's right.
I listened to them through high school, and as my music tastes diversified, I sort of fell off and jumped back on with American Idiot.
Yeah, I did not listen to much music beyond soundtracks and Weird Al Yankovic when I was younger. Mm-hmm. It was my older brother who introduced me to Green Day and Nirvana and Pearl Jam, because he's a couple years older than me, and I didn't know who any of these people were. And he's like, you need to know this. I don't want you to get beat up at school. I was like, thanks, brother. So well aware of Dookie at the time. I knew the radio hits of Green Day, but I wasn't a Green Day fan. When American Idiot dropped, it was just the right era for hating George W. Bush and speaking to me as someone who had just entered the political landscape, that I played the hell out of American Idiot.
Oh, me too.
I could certainly play, and I can sing along with every one of their hits up to that point. But that, as Mike pointed out, was the album of a generation right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I still vividly remember going to a mall in downtown Cleveland with my dad on one of my custody visit weekends and buying that, and it's blasting it out of his convertible, his midlife crisis convertible through downtown Cleveland all the way to his house. Good times.
So Green Day has been around for 30 plus years at this point. Nimrod was 97. This is 30 years later. I had a thought when I was watching it of like, would a bunch of 17-year-olds in 2026 give a shit about Green Day? But I quickly checked myself, because in 97, people loved the Beatles and loved the Rolling Stones, and were still 17-year-olds loving 30-year-old bands. It was just a surprise to me that Green Day was still so relevant that they could make a movie like this. Is it a fabrication? I don't know. I don't know any 17-year-olds, at least anymore, that would tell me one way or the other if Green Day truly is relevant.
I don't know what my nephews aren't 17, but like, I don't even know what they listen to. Probably whatever their mom plays, which is crap for the most part. Country and early 2000s emo bands. Yeah, I mean, thing is, when I first went into it, I was under the impression that it was a period piece.
So was I.
It feels like one, even though I'm pretty sure it's not.
No, it's not. It is 2026 that they are in.
Yeah, I thought I read somewhere it's supposed to be set in the 90s, and then what took me out of it, I had difficulty getting into this movie at first, because I'm like occasionally there'll be like these anachronisms, like, wait, why, if this is set in the 90s, why is there a My Chemical Romance poster on the wall? And
they have cell phones. Yeah.
And cell phones. And even then, like when I first saw a smartphone, I'm like, okay, so that's not what this is. So this isn't lazy filmmaking. And so eventually when I got over that, I was able to get into it a little bit. But yeah, I think it's also just the fact that like this is set in like Missouri, right? Is this where this is
Kansas
set?
City,
or Kansas
Kansas,
or something like that? So like, yeah, that makes sense that 2026 Kansas would look like 90s anywhere.
Well, honestly, that's one of my criticisms of the movie up front, is going from Kansas to LA in the ugliest road trip I've ever seen. I shouldn't say I've ever seen, but it is an ugly movie. It is very desaturated, and it's winter, which makes sense because it's December and they're going to celebrate the new year in Los Angeles. But there's no color or vibrancy in this movie. It is very washed out, dull, gray, green, black, brown. And I suppose to the style of music and the punk nature, it wouldn't be a bright, colorful movie. But it does make the movie a little ugly visually. Yeah,
no, I would agree with that.
I think that color palette is what made it feel aged. I think that's what really it made it feel not modern.
Yeah. Well, the narrative of it, though, it's a pretty standard road trip movie. It checks off the boxes of A to B misadventures along the way. 2 hours on this runtime. I think it could have been a tighter movie as well.
Oh, for sure.
But criticisms aside, this cast is really strong. I really liked Fred and Chad. I really liked his older brother and his brother's friend. I liked a lot of the supporting cast here. When McKenna Grace enters the story, she's cute and fun, and they meet some weirdos along the way. Fred Armisen makes a cameo in here.
That's a fun cameo.
I do think this has some good weirdos that they meet along the way, some other punks, right? And that makes this a compelling watch for the most part. But also, I don't know if Mason Thames carried this movie. Here's the thing. I think he's very, very good. at playing an angsty 17-year-old, but he plays an angsty 17-year-old punk so well, I'm not actively rooting for him.
Sure,
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
I agree. In short, I thought the supporting cast was phenomenal. I was there for it the entire way. There would be scenes where you're right, Mason Thames is very good, but I actually thought he was one of the more dull parts of the movie. And I'm still trying to figure out exactly why. It's not that teen angst doesn't have a place, but what exactly was he rebelling against? Right? Like, so for me, my experience of Green Day was much more of like a happy poppy type of rebellion, a little betrayed by the notion, not betrayed, that's the wrong word, but American Idiot does actually finally come out and have a rebellion against authority, right? Speaking truth to power kind of thing.
Right.
Earlier than that, my interaction with Green Day was it's pop punk. It's about having a good time, doing drugs, getting up to shenanigans. Not quite Blink-182 levels of playful shenanigans, but kind of in that realm. And that's what everyone else in this movie felt like, whereas Mason Thames felt like Tommy felt like he was trying to he had a chip on his shoulder. He was trying to grind, and it just I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I felt like I was tempted to say the quote from Iron Man 3 when Harley's talking to Tony Stark and Tony Stark goes, "Dad's died, get over it." Like, because Harley's upset because his dad died, and it's like, "Dad's died, get over it." That's really, really rude to Tommy. But yeah, it's this disingenuous rebellion of like, hey man, what is so bad in your life that you need to fight the system like this? Like,
yeah, because he doesn't have like his dad's dead, but his mom is not like, she's not super uptight. The movie I kept thinking of was Detroit Rock City. And Detroit Rock City, the antagonist was the mom, who was like this super uptight right-wing suburban Christian who was looking for a satanic meaning in anything that brought joy to any young people. And the mom in this movie was so not that. She seemed relatively supportive of like her son being a musician, and even indicates that he is a good son. He loves his mom and wants to help her out during this tough time. It's just like he has this strong interest in music. The only real adversary is his brother, who, his brother's a complete fucking dick, and I kind of wanted more of a comeuppance for him at the end of the movie. And instead of this, like, heartfelt, like, hey, look, man, my dad died too, and, I'm just, whatever. I don't know. I felt like he got off a little too easy, but like, I don't know, he didn't really have that much to really complain about. Like, just the sadness of losing his dad and his brother not respecting him, but like, he had a great relationship with his parents, it seemed.
Yeah, overall, I think the movie needed to pick a lane. Talking about a road trip movie here. I think it would have benefited more from bigger, wackier, sillier shenanigans, leaning more into the ridiculous misadventures of these characters and pulling away from the drama that they kept contriving themselves into. How many speeches in this movie are, we're done, we're not doing it, we're going home, I'm quitting the band, and then some champion speech of like, no, this is our destiny, we're going to be rock stars, don't give up on me now, okay, let's hit the road again, only for 15 minutes later to have the same conversation, and then 15 minutes later have the same conversation, and it starts to get into that repetitive grind of these contrived dramatic moments. And I'm sure in creating this, Kirk, the writer-director, talking to Green Day probably recounted many times over the years that they were trying to get where they were going, wanting to quit, wanting to walk away, maybe even taking a step back before coming back to the band. That's over years, not the days it takes to drive across from Kansas to LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can buy that though. Having been in a band, I can totally see that every day someone else is like, I'm done with this, I'm walking home, I don't care, I'm done.
But then I would just play that for the comedy of it instead of the earnest sincerity they kept trying to foist upon us.
Yeah, to me the joy of this movie was found in the antics, but primarily like the punk rock show they finally got to do, where Mason wanted to impress the girl. I don't care about the impressing the girl part. The rest of that show, for me, was a wonderful time. It felt like punk rock shows I'd been to, and it truly did capture the heart of what I think this whole thing was going for.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
in that regard, I thought it did do with at least with that nugget, it did a really good job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that was for sure one of those golden moments, even if it does hit a lot of the cliches of like teen rebellion movies. And I don't know, the ending was kind of satisfying, I guess. I mean, we got to see the characters experience some kind of little victory, even if it wasn't the way they hoped it would go. Mm-hmm. But they still like got to interact with their heroes, and that was cool and everything. And also like, to give Green Day credit, they're not totally wooden as actors.
I'm always amazed by Billy Joe's voice because he's got such a great punk singing voice, but then he talks and his voice is so light and sweet sounding. It always amazes me.
So Billy Joe was actually the star of a movie that for years have said it's a movie I hate more than any other movie I've ever seen in my life. He did a low budget stop motion animated film called Live Freaky, Die Freaky. It was a movie that an ex-girlfriend who was a total Hot Topic girl made me watch when I was in like high school. And I remember her hyping up about it for so long because she loved Green Day and also had a bunch of other punk rock musicians. The dudes from Good Charlotte were in it as well, and she loved Good Charlotte. God. It's trying to be Nightmare Before Christmas, but about Charles Manson.
What?
Yeah. And it's got Billy Joe as the voice of Charles Manson. And I just remember thinking, like, man, there isn't a single good performance in this movie. Now, Billy Joe wasn't the worst. The worst was Kelly Osbourne as Sharon Tate. Oh, my fucking Christ. I wanted to shoot myself watching this
movie.
Don't watch it. It's one of the worst movies. It's one of the movies on my Letterboxd. It's like, it's a half star, and it's only because I couldn't give it 0.
Bring this tangent somewhere, Mike.
Yeah, but so I'm sorry, I totally went on the tangent, but I'm just saying that, like, that's where I know from like Billy Joe as an actor, I'm like, okay, maybe you shouldn't do this outside of maybe Simpsons cameos, but here he did okay. And same with like the other guys. I've seen musicians turn in a lot worse self-indulgent performances and comedy or like movies that are marketed around them, or where they're like, oh, they're the big savior of the movie, and they were a little bit more convincing than most versions of that. Because like usually they tend to be real self-indulgent and very wooden, and here they played a little bit more like it wasn't so irritating or cliche when they come up. It was a little bit more, I could buy into a little bit more.
Yeah, it was just enough of them that it wasn't their movie. Even though this is their movie, they didn't make it about them. This isn't a biopic. Yeah. Every song that they have in their library is in this movie, but it was more about they bookend the whole story. And it's about these kids on this road trip. I think ultimately, if you like Green Day, you're going to love this movie. This is a love letter to it, and no more different than what the Michael movie is. The Michael Jackson movie is just, it's the hits. You want to hear the hits? Do you want to feel like you're in the presence of Michael Jackson? Great.
Sure.
You want to hear the hits of Green Day? You want to feel like you're living that punk rock lifestyle of the 90s and apparently now? You're going to love this movie.
You want to see a really well-filmed concert at the end?
Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. But I think if you're looking for a road trip movie, a comedy, a coming-of-age movie, there's so many better you could choose. This is a very niche movie. This is not going to be a blockbuster by any means. It's not blazing any new trails and giving us something so unique that I'm like, oh man, who would have guessed the Green Day movie?
No, God no.
But it's good. It's good. I do like Green Day. Green Day is a part of my adolescence and my young adulthood. And so getting to hear their music applied to this adventure, it was good. But I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
You know what is missing?
What?
Is missing a scene where all of them scream at the same time.
into a canyon? Into a ravine?
Yep, that's what it was missing.
That's the other way to go. See, if you, instead of leaning towards the comedy, if they decided to lean more towards the real drama of the story and make a real self-serious, a screaming into a ravine scene would have cinched it.
Oh, no, I'm not saying Garden State screaming it. No, I'm saying the adventure where the car's careening down the road and an antic happens and they all scream at the same time.
You're saying if it was, yes.
I think that speaks to what more of what I wanted out of this,
Great.
right?
Okay,
that sort of antic energy as opposed to not.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do a thing where they make it to Hollywood and they go to like that trail we go to up in the hills to see the Hollywood sign, and they're like, "Woo, we're in LA! Oh my god,
Yeah,
woo!
we've made it. We're
Los
touching the
Angeles!"
world.
Yeah. So points for avoiding that cliche when even though it hit a lot of other cliches.
Well, I think I've made my feelings pretty clear on this, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it a final score here. Music's fun. It's a good movie, but not great. And I think in the end, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 bags of mushrooms. Yes, that's what I'm going to go with there. Mike, how about you give me your final thoughts and throw a score on it?
I mean, you're going to love this if you grew up in the suburbs, loving a lot of like pop punk back in the day, as I did as a kid. And if you hung out with a lot of musicians when you were a teenager, then yeah, a lot of it's going to ring pretty true to you. This was fine, but this is a pretty good road movie. And again, it reminded me a lot of Detroit Rock City, except the characters are a lot more likable. It's not a bad movie, but it's not anything to really write home about. It plays a lot of cliches of the genre, but I do appreciate like the chemistry with the characters and a lot of camaraderie. And it does have a pretty satisfying conclusion. And also, like, I do like the fact that, again, this isn't necessarily a rebellion against society kind of movie. I mean, the only one with really an overprotective parent is the character you would expect to have that parent.
Yeah.
And that character kind of sucked. But you do like it when they have these little victories and how they all fall into place. And again, it's a solid soundtrack. It's shit I grew up with. Not stuff I listen to currently, but it did make me go, I should probably go down that rabbit hole again and see what they've been up to the last couple of years. They put out albums since 21st Century Breakdown, and maybe they got back to their roots at some point. It's been like 20 years or so. So yeah, this is fine. It doesn't really blaze a trail or anything like that. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 American Idiots.
Very good. And Jim, why don't you give us some final thoughts here and throw a grade on it?
I don't know that I have anything to say different. I actually think Mike here did a splendid job of summing up really everything there is to kind of say about it. And I think this thing splits right down the middle. I'm going to give it 5 out of 10 stolen taxis.
Very good. All right. Well, we have to practice at some point in time, so everybody plug their basses into these amps here and just start jamming, okay?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good lick. That's great. Oh, what is that?
Slapping the bass.
Yeah,
That's the line.
Yep. Oh, man, that's good.
Geddy Lee.
Noodling. Yeah, cool.
Noodling.
Rocking the bass. Yeah. We're going places, guys.
You got a real Les Claypool thing going on.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah. I'm glad you hear that's my inspiration.